Welcome back to the HGC. We missed every single one of you at home as we gear up for our final series of the European League here for the weekend. It's going to be a good one. My name is Trixler over here. We got Caldor. Caldor, you ready for it, man? Last one on Sunday?
Yeah, I am definitely ready. There's still a lot on the line here. The Monkeys, of course, they want to get out of those crucible spots, and at the same time, Leftovers, they really want the victory here because they want to solidify their position on the 4th place, make sure that Fnatic can't overtake them easily. It's going to be a good one. We had a great series already. Granite Gaming versus Team Liquid was fantastic, and I am hyped for our second match.
Lots of eyeballs on this match here. Let's go ahead and check out the standings and see where Leftovers are currently at. And you can see why they need to get a win today, as they currently sit at the 4th slot. As we're only sending 4 teams of Western Clash here in California. Fnatic on the edge there is wanting to sneak on in, so they're hoping for a loss today on the side of the Leftovers.
Yeah, the big thing between the big thing between Leftovers and Fnatic is that Leftovers need to avoid to be tied in matches with Fnatic, because Fnatic has a much better map score. So if by some miracle, if somehow Leftovers are losing and Fnatic are winning a few games here, then Fnatic is going to Western Clash. That's basically what it all comes down to.
Here's the schedule. Earlier, we had Team Liquid and Granite Gaming facing off in a best-of-5 series. Granite Gaming looked strong, but Team Liquid was able to prevail. They clutched it out when they needed to, and they got a 3-2 victory. Still a solid series to check out if you're looking for VODs to watch from the weekend. Up next, as mentioned, is Leftovers and Monkeys, and then later on, we got North America coming right at you.
Yeah, so just with North America, we have LFM Esports going up against Team Freedom and No Tomorrow. So far, without a single victory, going up against Team Simplicity.
Yep, North America going to end with some solid matches themselves here for our Sunday. So HGC Europe is about to conclude here for the weekend, and we got this great series to watch. I know Fanatics Mexi was actually reaching out to Alex and Prodigy saying, hey, if you guys can get a win today, that'd be pretty awesome. You know, I'll give you a tier 3 sub for 6 months on his stream. You know, Alex, he's thinking about that. He loves those subs coming his way. He loves his fellow Monkeys.
So if the Monkeys take down Leftovers, then all of a sudden it's back in Fnatic's court. Because right now, Fnatic have to hope that at some point Leftovers screw up. That Leftovers either lose against Granite Gaming or that they lose against the Monkeys. If that happens, then a victory of Fnatic against the Monkeys next week would guarantee the Western Clash for them. So right now, Fnatic is going to be watching this and they're going to be like, please, Monkeys, pull it off. And if the Monkeys don't pull it off, then there's a very good chance that in the next week, Granite Gaming has a very strong scrim partner, because Fnatic will do everything they can to prepare them for their series against the Leftovers, since, yeah, that's what it hinges on if the Leftovers take it here today.
Well, let's check in with Mopsio and Crosby as they let us know what they think will happen in this series.
The Monkeys is just a team which is all over the place since they begin playing together. It seems like what one day they can contest the best teams in Europe, and then the other day they are just looking super sloppy, uncoordinated, and we are just hoping for them playing on the other day. I expect a lot of Alex Pro-G plays, the Reddit plays. He shows a lot on his stream that he can do a lot of 1v9 actions, and I expect a little bit of show of those actions, and I expect the same results as well.
So Leftovers seems super strong right now. They've been improving tons since last time, so I'm gonna be super scared of them, but at the same time we're gonna be focused, and we're gonna keep an eye on Lynx, of course, because he's been having some insane deck cut plays. So coming to the series, we're gonna have to focus a lot on him and make sure that he doesn't pop off like last week. I don't think it's gonna be one team taking it 3-0 this time, and I think we're gonna be able to enjoy a good classic HOTS match.
Now, with so much on the line for this series, we thought about bringing in a third consultant to talk and tell us what exactly is going to be happening during this entire matchup. But we did have a caveat. We wanted to make sure that you and I did not put anything on this an analyst so they can kind of set the results up at all.
It wasn't only that. So we have a production team that really loves Heroes of the Storm, and the crew here, they are playing, they are enjoying the games here. And our good old friend, the Wheel of Wisdom, has therefore sat down with them and said, okay, guys, we need to talk a little bit because we need to approach this. So the Wheel has sat down with the crew, and they came up with a few suggestions for the day.
Yeah, so let's check it out, actually, as the Wheel of Wisdom is coming out once again to give us analysis on how the Monkeys and Leftovers will be facing off. Now, this time we have a couple of different interactions in terms of what can be picked here. So far, the wheel has been correct. I don't know either, so let's just roll it and see what happens here. First spin out of 3. See where we're going to land here as we land on the Monkeys are going to 3-0 the Leftovers. That is a bold claim.
That is a really bold claim, definitely. And also, that was a really weak spin. I'm going to show you.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to hurt it.
This is how you spin them.
Okay, I'm going to pick an out here.
There we go.
Our second spin coming in here. And it's going to be Trickster and Caldor 1v1. What?
All right.
I mean, it's doable.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Ready? Are we doing this right now? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Later on. Okay, later on. Let's do it. Last spin. I did a little bit more on that. A little bit more zest. Last one is going to be a Zoinks.
Wait, I want one too.
No, you can't.
Why?
You only spin it 3 times. You can't break the rules.
I never made. No, I'm not gonna say that. He said it already. Why not 4? I want 2. You had 2. I want 2 as well.
If you, I guess, go with it. Well, you might be breaking laws of physics.
I'm 12. I want 1.
Okay. All right. He just did it. He broke the wheel.
Shush.
Monkeys win HGC.
No, that's going a little bit overboard. That was a Josh suggestion.
I mean...
Okay, we're going to make it here. Hi, Twitch.
There we go. So the Wheel of Wisdom comes out. We're going to 1v1, apparently. The Zoinks will be uttered. Those are 2 easy freebie ones. And then somehow the Monkeys are supposed to get a 3-0 of the Leftovers. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go to Battleground number 1. We'll do one in between each series.
Of course.
Yep, of course.
I think that was the perfect result. I think we're just going to stand with this.
Well, Skya Foundry will be the first Battleground here for the Leftovers. Monkeys will have first pick. Sky Temple and Towers of Doom banned out. Braxis Holdout is actually up and available for the picks.
Yeah, Volskaya taken here. I mean, Braxis is something that we could actually see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Who banned that out traditionally? I actually see. I think the Monkeys so far have banned it out a couple of times. They had a Braxis ban, but they also focused on Dragonshire as their ban. And Leftovers, yeah, only one. Like, both of the teams not really too concerned about Braxis. Not quite sure if it's going to be picked here. I mean, so far we had it only taken once, but maybe one of them has a bit of a cheeky strategy prepared for the map. But I want to see what the Monkeys are doing, because what happened when we came in Phase 2? Everybody said Monkeys, they are a little bit in a weird spot right now. A lot of their players are currently half-timing it since they are going back to university or are still at university. They don't quite have as much time as others to practice. But then they really showed up against Zealots. But of course, that was at a time when Zealots were really struggling to find their rhythm because they just changed so many players, they changed the approach to the game. And ever since then, Monkeys have really, really struggled and not found momentum, and they look quite shaky. So this is now one of those games that's going to be very important for the Monkeys, because depending on how the Leftovers play out the rest of Phase 2, this could be a potential direct contender that you have to measure up against. So with the victory for the Monkey Menagerie, they would first of all tie in the match score with the Leftovers, but they would also find themselves in a spot where maybe towards the end of the year they could even dodge the Crucible. And right now, yeah, I was already a little bit worried about that, so something didn't quite work out here.
Oh yeah, something wasn't working apparently.
Kerrigan, first ban, that's happening, boys.
Yeah, that was... Something happened in draft there, so we'll get that fixed
like,
and make sure we come back.
That's not... That's... Yeah.
I started looking at like, wait, are we on the wrong map? What's going on here? Like, you start to try to find answers or rationalize it, and you're like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that looked very much like, what did Alex do these days? Is he all of a sudden spamming like massive amounts of Kerrigan?
Yeah.
The Leftovers say like, oh yeah, we've seen your stream.
Okay, well, we'll be back here with the draft in a couple of moments here. I think on paper, looking at this, it feels like it should be a pretty solid win for the Leftovers, because they have found their stride. They have really brought it together. I mean, DAB and Blakitny are starting to really work together. You have the Maiev competitions coming in that they've shown in strength, and they've also been pushing a lot of these higher level teams to the limit. And then you look over to the Monkeys right now, who seem to have just lost their stride. They seem lost in some fights, as mentioned by Mobsio in the interview. So looking at this, it's an important matchup for the Monkeys, but I'm just wondering if they're actually going to show up today.
Yeah, me too. And if they do, then as I said before, they are going to be on an even match score with Leftovers, and they will have the advantage in the direct comparison. Now on the map score, that's a bit of a different story, and of course the map score is the second criterion. But still, this is not only about what happens towards the Western Clash, but it's way more about what happens towards BlizzCon, who goes to BlizzCon, who falls down into the Crucible, and you really have to work on that too. And when we're talking about the Crucible, we also talk about Open Division. And the one thing to really note there is that we have still, with ePunks Black, a team that has now won 3 cups in the Open Division and hasn't lost a single game yet, not a single map. So there's a very strong team breaking through, wanting to make it to the Crucible, and that's going to be tough to face for any of the teams within the lower part of HGC.
So over the side, Monkeys will be the one with the first ban, actually. Seems like we've just had the order incorrect on our last attempt at the draft. Tracer banned out, Leftovers on their side. Will they attempt to take out the Abathur or a Tassadar? Both pretty strong on this map.
I mean, first thing that happens here, Tracer being banned, it's DAB. You have DAB against you, you know that he wants to play the hero. Phoenix is another special of him, has been targeted in past games by opponents as well, trying to push him out of those auto attackers that he just excels at. But it's Diablo that gets banned out by the Menagerie here, as they're heading into Volskaya. And Zeratul, no 1v9 for Alex this time.
Abathur's up.
Yeah.
Monkeys usually have expressed their distaste for Abathur, usually banning him out. So that makes me think they might not pick him up. But Leftovers, on the other hand, they could look into him. Kane will be the first pickup here for Monkeys, keeping that away from Linked, as mentioned in the interview.
It seems a bit that they're really starting to also target heroes on the other side, or players on the other side, we heard in the interview how Crosby really respects the deck arcane plays that we have from Linked, so he bans that away, or he picks it away. We have Tracer banned out and Diablo, which was another staple for Mopsio. Now Phoenix is taken really early on, and I think that comes back to what I already said. We see oftentimes bans against Tracer and Phoenix are picked away because DAB just excels on both heroes. So a very early Phoenix prioritization that we have on the leftover side together with Muradin.
There's Urel. We were missing her in the last series. But now Saproji, not going to disappoint us. Garrosh comes out as well. Strong front tank, really good frontliners actually between Urel and Garrosh.
Yeah. Very
difficult to kill, and you have a deck that came backing them up. Monkeys have a really good foundation for controlling points already. Here's Hanzo as a ban. Hanzo is a mainstay for Crosby. His cooldown's fallen off pretty dramatically. Haven't seen that as much. He's been playing more Hanzo and Phoenix this season. Blaze also banned out for the Monkeys.
Yeah, targeting the offlane here and making sure that with those bans they're also limiting the sustain on objectives, the sustain on the checkpoints. Which leaves you with a few options, of course, still for the offlane. With Phoenix, you could go into Thrall and go for the Earthquake here.
Yeah.
It's one of the potential plays. Not Leftovers still have their Maiev ready. Maiev Tracer is really something that stands out for Leftovers, and letting Maiev through is interesting. It really indicates that Monkey's absolutely okay with Blink Kidney on that hero, because Maiev has been played by Leftovers so much.
Especially with Muradin here. You have that dive, Stormbolt, Maiev tethers any combo in. Should be able to have the easy blow up too. Cassia comes in for the 4th pick and Tassadar, so we're going with that hyper carry type of strategy here for Monkeys. Cassia becoming a little bit more popular as of late. What side lane are we going to get here for Leftovers?
It's a really good question. I'm a little bit... don't really know.
Leo and Mouth.
Yeah.
Jump out to me. I think Leo more.
I still have Thrall on the list as well.
True, yeah. I like Leo because of Entomb and also helpful against Garrosh, but Entomb against Cassia is great. Malthiel to put some pressure on Garrosh, and they actually go with the Mouth.
Yeah. Okay. I have to admit that I really like what Monkeys have. I think the draft is pretty good, strong.
The only thing I don't like is they let Maiev go through, but they did focus on other targets they want to take away.
Yeah.
And they got Kane, pulled that over. They took out the Diablo, which has been strong. So I'm alright with it.
But you've seen Cassia actually do really well in HGC Europe in a lot of the games where she was picked. I mean, notably, of course, Dignitas when they tried to play with Cassia, or when they played with Cassia against Fnatic and did extremely well there. So that worked out. But yeah, the setup works. But again, this Maiev composition that we've seen in the past for Leftovers was always so powerful, and they did so well with this. But for me, the first map is really gonna set the tone of the entire match. Monkeys seem to fall apart once they are getting behind in maps. That's what's oftentimes the case, where all of a sudden there's just like, all right, crazy stuff coming out, and it just doesn't really work out for them, where they go a bit overboard with trying to surprise their opponent. So for me, this is going to set the entire tone. I feel that game is going to tell us what we can expect from the series. Because at this point, I still have the Leftovers as the favorites, but at the same time, if the Monkeys pull themselves together here, they can tie with leftovers. So it's not like they haven't shown good games yet, but it's just like the consistency that is lacking. So which which monkeys are showing up today?
Yeah, I'm actually really hoping that Crosby in particular shows up because he's going to need to in this composition, being the main damage for his team.
Yeah.
The other day, he was a little bit off. It felt like getting picked off in weird scenarios, picking some odd talents here and there in his rotation. So for today, I'm hoping that on Crosby, we have that Cassia delivering the blows that are needed here for the Monkeys so we could have a 6 series on our hands. Leftovers and Monkeys heading into the match here. On the left side, Polyboss on Malthael, Blakitny on Maiev, Mopsio on Murden, Linked on Malfurion, and DAB on Phoenix.
And their opponents, Monkey Business on the right side of the map, as we have Crosby on Cassia with the main damage. Make finds himself on Tassadar with Alex the Pro G, Papa Monkey on Urel, and of course then Baller on Garrosh, and last but not least, we're seeing Splendor on Deckard Cain.
So immediately, the first thing you're going to be watching is Cassia here, trying to work on her Q stacks, as that'll be something that Leftovers will attempt to dodge out on.
Oh, he goes deep.
Wow, he just walks into that. Crosby. Question mark.
Yeah, that was a big... I mean, did the wheel say something about running it down mid, or what just happened?
Yeah.
That was a very, very optimistic jump into 4 or 5 heroes.
Especially the Maiev tether being up. Like, I can see, okay, we're trying to work on dodging Sartseps. Like, maybe if a Stormbolt's coming out there, I'm able to dodge around it. Malfurion, with some help, I'll be okay. But a tether being available and a teleport from Maiev is an insta-death on a Cassia with her having no mobility available.
Yeah, okay, let's just check that off as being like one of these oops moments and see what happens from now. But that was definitely a bit of a weird engagement.
It's a wake-up call, that's for sure. Don't do that again.
Yeah, it's like, didn't matter too much. It's the early game. You died pre 1 minute, but do us a favor and play a little bit more safe. Yes, we have Tassadar here, but he's not that strong.
Leftovers will be happy with that kill, though. Opening up with a small experience lead. Very small, but something that's helpful. Gonna go ahead and focus on the wave clear. That's turrets that we can grab for both of our teams. The support camp will be up soon. Usually the main point of contest for both of our teams, trying to see if one's willing to rotate over. And Leftovers, they're actually ahead of that already. They're starting to bring everyone up from the bottom lane, watching that traditional support camp that's usually grabbed.
Yeah, and there's the attack, and Urel is now moving over. This is a 5 versus 4 for the time being. But already, Rema Baller going in deep and trying to buy himself a little bit of time together with Garrosh, who also, with Deckard, who also zones that out. Here comes Alex. Rema Baller is quite low, though, but might actually walk away. Nope, just kidding. We have also Cassia falling again. Maiev as the counter kill. But here comes a third one for Leftovers as they are going straight for Splendor, eliminating him too. And just like that, 4 kills against 1, level lead for Leftovers, and an additional item.
Leftovers also hitting level 4 right in the middle of that entire fight too. They were able to slam in those talents. That was helpful too. But Broccoli coming in as well, being a bit annoying there. And Monkeys are going to be hurting now. That is for sure. Down 4-1 in kills. Item control, as you mentioned, here for the Leftovers. And they're on the way towards level 7. Monkeys have to soak up and find a way to get back.
And this is going to be tough once Leftovers hit that level 7, because the extra talent is going to help them really with the first objective. And for the Monkeys, they should be able to get that experience, but at least initially, it should help Leftovers to claim the position on the objective. And that is going to give them a bit of a lead there. Now, it's really unfortunate for them that they lost already 4 heroes. I mean, that fight over the camp was... I'm not sure if you let that go. I mean, the rotation was really fast from Leftovers, where they said, okay, we're going to 5-man this. And the problem was Alex was still at that bot lane. He was clearing out the wave and trying to get the experience. So if they make the play, I think they have to delay it a little bit more. Because the problem was by the time that Alex arrived at the fight and it turned into a 5 versus 5, Garrosh was already extremely low. And if Cassia falls in this composition, which was the second kill that the Leftovers secured, you're lacking so much damage.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, you know, you have Archon. You can at least play around Tassadar a bit, and you have some additional tools there. But up to that point, and even beyond that, once Cassia falls, you have to really think about backing off there.
You could have also leashed it over a little bit too. You had Rimmer step up and do a toss on the opposing team to buy a little bit of space, but then he stood on the actual support camp and kept it leashed in that area. If you pull it down the bottom right corner, that gives you more room for 1, you're able to rotate up, and then 2, for Deckard Cain to be able to drop down his zoning control abilities, which is what's so powerful about him. So a bit of an odd odd decision by the Monkeys. Hopefully going forward they can adjust that as needed.
I think it's if it's a straight up 5 versus 5 this early in the game, they have really good chances of winning that
Sure.
fight. Just simply because they have so many tools and the displacement around Urel for one, but also the Deckard Cain when he's in there. It was just that time frame was not really in their favor with Urel making that rotation and Alex just arriving a bit too late. So now they find themselves in a spot where they are really down in experience. If they somehow can get a kill when they're trying to go for the objective, that would definitely work. So this game is by no means over, but it depends highly on how this protector is going to work out now. Because if you are in a spot where you can't get the side soak experience, you don't get level 7 in time, your opponent takes position and takes the protector, that 1 level lead can easily snowball into a 1.5, 2 level lead on the side of leftovers. And then we're playing a very similar game to what happened earlier between Granite Gaming and Team Liquid, where you're always a talent down and you're always playing from behind. And then engaging into that with the composition that they have is going to be tough.
Well, looking over to leftovers, they should also be on cruise control looking for that level 7 right now since they're so far ahead. They are at 6.5 in levels right now to the 6 that Monkeys are about to connect with. Monkeys already making a bit of a play here for the control point in the middle. Leftovers, again, do not have to overcommit to this. They have top lane pushing in. They should be fine. They want to look for a number advantage, and they actually have it now because Tassadar is in the top lane defending.
Yeah, and they also have, in just a few seconds, the advantage. Oh my god, that's going to be a potential kill against Alex. Yes, they go for him. And there's the final blow. Down he goes. Alex is dead. That's the level 7 in the hands of the leftovers. 5 kills against 1, only 3.5 minutes into the game. Not a pretty start.
No. No, it is not. Pretty disappointing start, actually, for the Monkeys. 5 and 1 when it comes to kills. 7 hitting here for leftovers on their way to level 8. This control point should be going fully over to them. Monkeys trying to make a play here on the top lane to go for Blakitny, but he'll easily walk away thanks to the vault.
They're trying to pressure here a bit, and they have the level 7 now, so this is what we've been talking about. You need to wait for your level 7. Because of the discrepancy in experience, leftovers is going to take the early lead, and that's exactly what happened here. And now we have a play, at least, for potential kill against Mopsio. Not really the best follow-up that we just saw from Splendor with Deckard Cain here, especially with Muradin, of course, still having his jump up. But they at least contest the point now. One of the big problems is, of course, that they are currently still up against the additional healing beacon. And we have already the second turret also secured from leftovers. Now, the one thing that we can see on the minimap is that we have Alex and his boys now moving over to their own camp. So they're trying to get that turret too.
Yeah.
But that situation, this is really, I don't want to really call it a do or die moment because it's a bit too early in the game. But it's what I talked about just a few minutes ago. You are a level behind. If you lose the protector now, you're in trouble. But they have level 7 talents. So it's still an even fight right now. But if they lose the protector, then they would definitely pay a big price for it. And that healing beacon that we still have on Muradin, on Mopsio, that's going to play a crucial role if it's placed correctly during that fight.
It's going to be a slippery slope, that's for sure. So they're going to fight for the control point, and that will give them the time to stabilize in this game. But as you mentioned, if they do lose a protector, that's something the top wall taken down, potentially a fort as well. The defense for the Monkeys actually in the early game isn't the greatest to get the protector. Sure, you can get some poke there from Cassia, maybe a little bit of damage, but if the protector locks down Cassia and they can get rid of her, suddenly you don't have any type of team fight available for you, and leftovers can exploit that with their ability to have Maiev force some fights.
Yeah, and I mean, the level 7 talents are going to change some of those things. At least Tassadar is in a better position to really save targets now and also stay a little bit farther away from the action because he has now the psionic reach, so he has the extra range that he can use there. That's definitely helping him. And Alex picked Divine Steed as the level 7 talent, so the rotations that we see from Urel are also going to become a bit smoother. And that really helps when you're behind in experience and you try to rotate down or up to a lane, clear it out, and then just still arrive in time at the objective to join a fight. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility in that. It's still difficult. And for leftovers, of course, this is the perfect start. As we said before, leftovers find themselves in a spot where they have 2 matches left before the Western Clash starts. They play against Granite Gaming next week, and they play against the Monkeys here today. And if they lose one of these 2 games, one of the 2 matches, then Fnatic is all of a sudden in a position where with the victory over the Monkeys next week, which is the only match still left for them, they could secure the 4th spot for themselves and go to the event. It's really in the hand of the leftovers round. And so far, I mean, they're looking good at 5 kills against 1. Can't argue about that.
A solid start if you are a leftovers fan. Now, we're having a few DC issues, so we're going to take some time here. We're going to go to a commercial break and get it resolved. We'll be right back with the rest of game number 1. Welcome back to the HGC. It looks like we have our DC situation completely resolved, so we're going to go ahead and get ready to go back into game number 1. Just for those that might be joining us right now, we've had the Leftovers in a pretty solid state. They've gotten a few kills already in this matchup. They have a nice level lead over the Monkeys, but the Monkeys right now have just hit level 7, and they're hoping to fight back over the first control point and get their own protector.
Yeah, exactly. So we also had some problems on the Leftover side with one of the connections, and of course, as there's a lot hinging on them performing well here and next week, they definitely wanted to change or double check that immediately. There's a lot on the line here for them. They want to go to the Western Clash. But yeah, the game is so far on, and this is really one of those moments where the early win can really help you towards the series, because Monkeys have proven to be a team that doesn't deal well with initial losses.
Yeah, they seem to crumble whenever they're in a spot where it's like, okay, we should have won that game. They fall apart pretty darn quickly. And then they suddenly go into game 2, game number 3, and they start to throw Hail Marys a little bit. Sometimes those Hail Marys work out. I mean, I remember the Johanna falling forward into the Arthas Syndergosa that was way back in the day.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. And if they have moments like that where they can turn it around, then of course they'll bounce back. But if they're unable to find that moment to bounce back, you see them kind of go further down this rabbit hole of, all right, we're self-destructing a little bit.
And this is where it all begins. One level behind, but on the same talent. Can the Monkeys pull this off? They just took their own turret, and this is now where they have to make the move and have to start to go in. So they hold on to one item right now. We have 3 on the other hand for Leftovers, and that is a massive advantage for them. But the point is still under the control of the Monkeys, losing it now, at this point contested. And they're about to drop the first of those turrets down, though.
The damage from Malthael is getting really annoying here. As the Leftovers continue to hold point, the double turrets helping out with the control. Rimmer trying to keep up the contest as much as possible, buying time for his team to keep working in attacks on that turret, but also for Crosby to keep working in those queues.
Yeah, again, the zone attempts by Leftovers, especially around the Malfurion roots. Nice damage here against Mopsio. He needs to be careful, but the overtime is still in play. They need to get on that point, and it doesn't look likely here. Right now, the Leftovers claim Protector number 1, still an entire level ahead, and with this, they are going to attempt to get a quick level 10, a 2-level lead, and then snowball it from there.
Turrets will be the first focus. The good news for the Monkeys is they did get Leftovers to use all of their items. They did have a massive amount available onto them, so at least they can have that to go for them. But the 10 coming for Leftovers is getting closer and closer, especially with this turret being sniped. And to the top, the Protector already working on that wall.
And you have a dive-heavy composition against you. That's the biggest problem for them. So with Maiev and Malthael, you can really start to dive deep here. And this is something, Imagine, of course, and this is something you're gonna very soon try and pull off. Top completely demolished here, 1.5 levels ahead. The well is gone, which is always the priority target. And right now, the fort is going to follow very, very soon. Fantastic start for the Leftovers into the map and the series, at least up to this point. And the big question that remains is, can the Monkeys somehow make their way back into it?
They're working on 10 now, playing as safe as they can. Good news is Crosby about to finish his level 1 quest, and so is Tassadar actually, sitting at about 800 stacks right now. For Cassie at 37 of the 40 that she needs to get that second charge available. So the damage is there. It's all about Headland 10. Will we get that Valkyrie as a way for the Monkeys to fight, or because the opponents are so dive heavy between Malthael, Maiev, and Murden, will they worry about possibly going into the chain ball? Looks like we're actually going to pick up the Valkyrie here.
I'm a bit surprised by that. I guess you can target Malfurion in the backline, and if you get Phoenix and can time that properly, also, I mean, in an ideal scenario, you time it around Warp. But yeah, if they can pull that off, that would be great. But I expected them, with how dive heavy Leftovers is, to simply go into Lightning Ball here.
No.
Either way, they have their 10. So the idea would be to try and be on the same talent as the second objective comes online towards the top. It's a bit unlikely because Leftovers have now that significant lead, and they will probably hit level 13 by the time. But Alex is now pushing out the bot lane. It's going to help them. But he won't be able to interrupt the Malthael rotation that is currently heading his way from the mid lane. So Podibos is going to take all of that experience. Nothing is going to go to waste here. And that will help the Leftovers to claim that additional talent. And so far, that game has looked fantastic for them.
Leftovers sitting in the middle here, being a little bit cautious though. Not quite 13, but they do definitely have a lot of items on them. Control and fights should go over their way. Monkeys definitely fighting on the back foot. They got their turrets here to the bottom right, so they'll be able to have one item to the 2 that Leftovers had. I just don't see them getting into a fight that they want. Leftovers playing so smart right now. DAB being a main target, or even Malfurion, but with them hitting 13, you'll have Ice Ball coming on from Malfurion, making it harder to dive him, and then Phoenix should be in a safe position.
Leftovers are definitely in the driver's seat, and I really believe that if you want to win against the Leftovers right now, you have to push them out of their comfort zone. And that has so far not really happened. And the opposite is actually the case. Leftovers have claimed their camp to the top left already, but they haven't capped it yet, so they can time that. And it's really tricky. Right now, for the Monkeys, it's tricky. But actually, if they just get a bit of experience and maybe a kill here, they could pull this off, and they go for the kill. DAB goes down, the 13 talents are within reach, so to say. Kidney himself is low, dodging the Valkyrie. The fight isn't over yet, but this is a fantastic fight for the Monkeys. They get the kill, they force Leftovers back, and they also force them to use items that they now can't use anymore. And through the kill and the pressure, they can now take level 13 to fight on the top. So that one action in the mid lane brought them definitely back for the second objective.
Good timing by them, too, because DAB was actually behind the gate wall. Garrosh being able to get that toss was able to get them the kill, and then, of course, Yoel comes in and prevents the teleport away. Leftovers, well, they push heading in the top side, but they will have one turret, so they will be able to fight, but Monkeys now are suddenly in the game here.
And they have the cooldown reduction with level 13 for Cassia, so every single time you connect with a hero, you get the cooldown reduction by a second, and that actually starts to matter if you have such a poke-heavy battle here. The experience lead for Leftovers is still there, but again, the item control is not in their hands anymore. At least it's not as dominant. Here comes the engage though. Salvo, Maiev, they're going in, and a ton of damage against the Monkeys. And this is a disaster. 3 heroes down, the first stack for Malthael. Perfect engage here by the Leftovers. And they're just saying, just kidding, we got this, boys.
The Leftovers special. Spaghetti and Maiev, it's what they do well here. Maiev able to go in, get the full Warden's Cage, pull 3 people in, and they have the Fan of Knives just popping out on the Malthael. He's so happy to spread out his Reaper's Mark, and then with the last right stack to come up afterwards, they completely annihilate the Monkeys.
It was a perfect answer. It doesn't get any better than that. You gave Monkeys a bit of hope as the Monkeys take that one kill, and then you take it away within a second as the fight starts, and you just go in, you drop everything, you unleash the full fury of your composition, and the Monkeys, with the way they stacked in that choke point as they were moving away, just got completely caught off guard here. 2-level advantage now for the Leftovers, and they are all over the map. They only keep Mopsio at the top. He's easily jumping out here as he's being attacked, but the Leftovers have already started to take down the fort at the bot lane. And they can still move to the top and claim the Protector again. They're winning everywhere on this map right now.
Yeah, if they really wanted to squeeze out a little bit more value, you could have maybe gone for the keep wall, but they're going to grab the turret instead to bring that up to help out for controlling that last 13%. Monkeys holding what they can. If they could, they would love to get a blow up on Mopsio right now, because Mopsio's by himself. Here comes the Oracle. Rimmer has the flank available. Can he get it? Oh, he misses out on the Groundbreaker, and Mopsio is able to escape.
Yeah, gets thrown in again, but the rest of the team is now rotating over. Here comes the Valkyrie. Maybe they can get the kill. He's trying to stay alive here, and so far it's working out, but the cage is in play. Alex needs to be careful with his Urel. She is not completely unkillable, but what the Ardent Defender. That was a clutch ult.
Gets healed up too, and now Splendor will be able to top him off. It's a lot of cooldown used. Salvo is still up and available. Monkeys trying to find another target. They keep flipping over Mopsio, but Mopsio will gladly get engaged upon. There's a Stormbolt. Blakitney to follow up, goes for the tether, and Splendor gets pulled on in.
Blakitney nearly fell here, but it's Garrosh who dies instead, and now they go for Alex again, and that's a double kill against the front line. Well executed, and these salvos, the entire time he hits either 4 or 5, they're doing so much work with them. Splendor on the run, but he cannot get past Muradin, and that is a 4-man kill.
4-man kill and 3-level lead.
12 kills to 2. And the you talk about a 3-level lead, and we are not even seeing the Protector in action. This is a 12-minute game right now, and they're already going for keep. They have taken down the fort at the bot lane, the one at the top, the one in the middle is already damaged too. They can go for core if they get another kill here. Like, this is really a moment where you don't know what you're going to do with this. Are you going to go for core, or are you just transitioning into the mid lane? But they're doing it. They're going for the core here. Let's see if they can pull it off. That thing scales, of course, so it's not too strong just yet. But if they get another kill, and so far they have gotten a lot, then they can definitely end the game here.
Taunt comes out, DAB will be the focus, and he will fall. The rest of the Leftovers, though, turn their attention towards the core, and they're focusing it down. It's slowly being taken out. Malthael and Maiev will be in this point if Pricker does fall, but it looks like it won't come to that. As Leftovers take the robot, and get a win. Monkeys fall down, and Leftovers go up 1-0.
Yep.
I mean, what much to say? A really poor start for the Monkeys. Crosby getting picked off a couple of times. They had to fight over the support camp in the top lane. That did not go their way. They were a full level and a half behind going into the first control point. They got 7 and tried to make it work out for them, but at that point, you're throwing Hail Marys. Eventually, you're going to fumble.
If you look only at the map score, then the Monkeys are by far the worst team in HGC. By far. The only reason why they are not completely at the bottom of the standings is because they got the win against the Zealots at the beginning of Phase 2. And we already heard everyone echo, Zealots included, but everyone else that they played, that the main problem for the Zealots was just simply that the schedule was for them very unfortunate, since they had all the direct competition at the beginning where they didn't have the synergy yet. And now that they are looking a lot stronger, they're going up against the heavy hitters. But Monkey is extremely disappointing here. And for Leftovers, this is a fantastic start in the series. And we talked about how important the series is for them. But I want to really see a little bit more spiciness here from the Monkeys.
Yeah.
They clumped up way too hard against this composition. You know what they want. You know what's happening with that Maiev pick. And first of all, the first thing is, why on God's green earth do you let Maiev through anyways if you don't have an answer for that? That's the first thing. Like, the way that they played with how they were begging for these cages to come out.
Sure.
And for that damage. It was just like, hey, we're clumping up all in this one spot. You have a full engage come with the Maiev that is looking for a cage. Here we are. I am absolutely okay if they let Maiev through, if they have some kind of tool where they say, okay, this is how we're going to deal with this situation. But that was far from it. I mean, they fell to that several times. Every single team fight was exactly the same way. Maiev jumps in, damage follows, and that was it. So if you can't deal with it, ban it out. And if you have paid any attention to what happened in the HGC so far with the Leftovers, you know there's basically currently 3 heroes that are very dominant for them. That's Tracer, Phoenix, and Maiev. And especially that Tracer Maiev style is super, super annoying. So ban it out, or come up with a strategy, or at least positioning within the fights that helps you deal with what